Peace to everybody out there. I'm making this video today to talk about dimensions, y'all. It's an interesting topic. So I will be explaining all the dimensions. From my knowledge, I know it's 1 through 9. You know what I mean? It's 1 through 9 dimensions. So before I start anything, I just want you to really think in your mind about what you're grateful for. You know what I mean? So let's take 5 seconds to do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, y'all. So first, I want to explain what is a dimension, y'all. Let me do it real quick. So a dimension is a place that holds many different consciousness, y'all. And these consciousness are separated by through experience, y'all. So it's like realistically, some souls have went through many experiences and chose to come back here or chose to come to Earth, you know what I'm saying, to really share their experiences and share their knowledge. And some souls are new to this experience, you know what I'm saying. So some souls are new souls, you know what I mean, and some souls are like more ancient souls that have lived a longer time. But you got to realize time is linear, y'all. Time is just a measurement of the space that you're in. So understanding that we are always connected throughout every dimension. So it's like somebody could be a new soul, but you know what I mean? They could also be a soul that they also have many experiences inside of them that they haven't really tapped into yet or locked. So that's what you really got to understand about time. But let's get into the deeper knowledge, y'all. So dimensions, y'all. So what is the third dimension, y'all? So first, I want you to understand the third dimension is Earth, y'all. It's a lot of other planets on a third dimensional density. We're not the only one, but for about Earth, in the third dimension, it's all just duality, y'all. That's what you got to understand about the third dimension, y'all. It deals with duality, with negative and positive, y'all. That's the biggest factor we have to deal with in the third dimension, because realistically, the third dimension, it goes through cycles and patterns, y'all. And the cycles and patterns it really goes through is this duality of positive and negative energy. So saying that, it's like the Earth has went through negative energy and it's going through positive energy. So realistically, the Earth was on a higher vibration than it was, but now it's descended into this third dimensional state. And now it is rising out of it and it's getting to more of a fourth dimensional state. So I just wanted to explain that Earth realistically is not just a home for humans. There's many extraterrestrials here, many extraterrestrials in inner Earth, all around you, from the government hiding extraterrestrials. There's many extraterrestrials out here, y'all. So, but I want to explain that extraterrestrials truly come from they don't really truly come from the fourth dimension, but the fourth dimension really is home to a lot of these extraterrestrials and stuff. A lot of extraterrestrials, they understand duality, they understand negative energy and stuff like that. That's why they partake into this third dimensional frequency, y'all. There's many extraterrestrials that don't deal with the third dimensional frequency. They don't deal with duality. Is what I'm saying. They on a higher form of consciousness, but it's some fourth dimensional aliens or extraterrestrials that really deal with the third dimension. They understand duality of negative and positive energy. So that's the third dimension, y'all. So let's talk about the first dimension. So the first dimension, realistically, is just a recycle center, y'all. It's where energy gets purified and changed into something else. It's kind of like a portal. It's like you go through the first dimension and you realistically get transformed into a pure new form of energy. You could say that you forget everything and stuff like that, but you realistically don't forget everything. You understand that remembering and the memory is your soul. So your soul's always gonna remember. So if a soul truly goes to the first dimension, it's just getting cleansed and purified. Then it's going out and now it's just living new experiences and stuff like that. So that's the first dimension. So the second dimension, y'all, is home of demons, home of negative energy, home of realistically just chaos, y'all. That's the best way to explain it. Confusion of a lot of stuff that's not really positive at all. It's just the home of negative energy. And so a lot of entities go there, like, you know what I'm saying? Some warlocks and magicians deal with the second dimension, and they go there to get energy and learn information from certain creatures and certain entities in the second dimension. So it's all about how you want to use your magic and what type of path you want to follow. So, you know what I'm saying? The second dimension is not so much as is a positive place. It's just a place that really holds a lot of spirits that deal with a certain type of energy, murder, like despair, you know what I'm saying, all these type of energies, these type of frequencies. That's where all that's from. Murder and, you know what I'm saying, cruelty and torture, all that stuff goes down in the second dimension, y'all. That's where all that stuff comes from, the second dimension. So what is the fourth dimension, y'all? So the fourth dimension, I want to explain this. The fourth dimension is space, y'all. So when you're looking at the sky and you see space, you're really seeing the fourth dimension, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Even though we understand that we're living in a simulation, all this is a hologram, but the hologram is trying to show you what's truly out there. It's just giving you a piece of what's real. You know what I'm saying? So the fourth dimension is home of many extraterrestrials, y'all. Many extraterrestrials come from the fourth dimension, y'all. Many extraterrestrials live on certain planets. Some extraterrestrials that live on spaceships. It's a vast place, y'all. But the biggest thing about fourth dimension, y'all, is really understanding this. The fourth dimension is where the universe really begins, y'all. Because you got to understand this about the universe. The universe is you. So that's basically saying that the universe is similar to you, or it has the same similarities and same things that you have. So the same way you have your own imagination, you can imagine yourself doing this, and you think of yourself in all these different parallels. Like, what if I was wearing a blue shirt, and what if I was wearing a red shirt? And you really can imagine yourself doing that. You know what I'm saying? All that is real, you know what I'm saying, to a certain extent. So all these things you see on TV, like these fictional characters, superpowers, all that stuff is possible in the fourth dimension, y'all. But it's in this certain type of place, y'all. So you really got to understand it's layers to this place. But I was trying to explain that it's like the first layer of it to really explain it is the dream world. That's how you can explain it. You can call the fourth dimension the dream world, but it's even greater than that. But okay, so the fourth dimension has this dream world, and this dream world, once you elevate your consciousness, that you can start doing things that's unimaginable, like you can't do in this physical reality. You can fly in this world. You can have superpowers. You could shapeshift. You can move things with your mind. You can do all these magical things in the fourth dimension, y'all. So realistically, that's where all that stuff is held, y'all. That's where that stuff is held. You can create anything you can imagine, y'all. That's what the universe truly is, y'all. The universe truly is anything you can imagine. It has that power to create anything you can imagine. So the fourth dimension is where that place is unreal, and where you could do most of that stuff at, anything you can imagine and stuff like that. But you got to understand it's layers to it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes in the dream world, a lot of stuff don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? You in your dreams, you displace that place. You don't really understand like what's really going on. It don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the lower part of the astral plane. But in the higher part of the astral plane is a world where it's real cities and real places and stuff like that that exist. But truly, it's just people that are dreaming. So it's like many people can travel to these cities from many different realms and many different dimensions and many different places and stuff like that. And they all know that they're consciously dreaming, like we're all in a dream. So that's the fourth dimension, y'all. That's the fourth dimension. It's a vast place, y'all. A big place, y'all. It really is the beginning of space. It's the gateway into space. So what is the fifth dimension, y'all? So the fifth dimension is a place of love and harmony, y'all. You got to understand the fifth dimension is not that different than the third dimension. It's not different than Earth. Realistically, it just doesn't have a lot of these different perspectives, y'all. Majority of the people that live in the fifth dimension, many different tribes and many different planets that are on this fifth dimensional consciousness, have similar, or they all have the same realistically perspective or awareness of certain things. They all believe certain things are true. So you got to understand that once a collective of people believe something is real, that makes it real. So it's like you really got to understand that majority of the people in the fifth dimension abide by these same beliefs and the same things, and they really understand the same things. So what is that to say? That means to say that they're more together as a collective. The earth really isn't together as a collective. Everybody on earth really has different perspectives, different viewpoints on many different things like religion and, you know what I'm saying, the government, like all these type of frequencies. That's what's really affecting the earth from reaching this fifth dimensional consciousness. It really, a lot of people just, they so all over the place with this energy that really doesn't even matter. It really doesn't exist. Like the government doesn't really even exist. You govern yourself. You know what I'm saying? The government, nobody can really tell you what to do. You know what I mean? It's all about if you follow it or not. But that's really understanding that that one day, you know what I'm saying, or we was in a higher dimension, y'all, and we was in a higher frequency in this third dimension, but it's just a cycle that we're in. So getting deeper into the fifth dimension, y'all. The fifth dimension, y'all, the biggest thing I learned from this is that the fifth dimensional people still dream. They still have access to this world that you can create anything you can imagine. But the one good example I was going to say is from the Avatar movie, the new one. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to spoil it a little bit for you. But you know, the little tail they have in that little thing, and it was connecting to the spirit and stuff like that, connecting with the tree and stuff like that. In that movie, they was able to connect with a tree, and all their ancestors was there, all their of them gathered together and stuff like that, and it was all in this world together. So I feel like the fifth dimensional world, that's how it is. It really, sleep is an illusion, y'all. It really is. So it's like you really got to understand that we go through this cycle of not thinking and thinking. We go through silent of your mind be silent, it's picking up frequencies, then your mind got these thoughts and it's picking up frequencies. So that's the cycle we all in. So you got to understand that in the fifth dimension, y'all, is really no sleep. So it's like most of the people, they go to sleep or they go through this silent period, then they wake up in this other world and they're able to do these unimaginable things. So in the fifth dimensional state, you could say that flying, shape shifting, teleporting, and moving things with your mind, all that is real because people have access to it easier than the third dimension. Even in the third dimension, if you do get lucid in your dreams, still you probably won't be able to do some of these things because you haven't built up enough power or built up enough conscious energy. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot for you to really do that. You know what I'm saying? But the biggest thing is understanding that all these dimensions have a dual dimension to it that you're able to do these things with, but it's just different than the world it is. Like when you're in your dreams, you don't really be with your friends. You might see somebody you know in your dreams, but you're not really there with them. Like, oh yeah, bro, you sleep too? Like, oh snap, we both in the dream together. Like, oh snap. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not really like that with the third dimension. So that's how it's like in the fifth dimension. You could be with your friends in the dream, your family and stuff like that. It's just like you waking up in the same world you was in, but it's just different possibilities and different things you could do. So what is the sixth dimension, y'all? The sixth dimension, y'all, really is the understanding. It's just the same thing as the fifth dimension, but some of them things that are possible in that world of anything you can imagine in that dream world are possible in the sixth dimension. So most of the sixth dimensional entities are like ascended masters, people that have lived a long time, been through a lot of experience and stuff like that. So they're able to live there and stuff like that. So that's what's really the separation between these dimensions, y'all, because it's like in the third dimension, it's many people that live probably multiple lifetimes and stuff like that, but it's like how connected and how deep are you really consciously with it? You know what I'm saying? Have you consciously lived 1,000 years? Have you consciously lived 10,000 years? Like, you see what I'm saying? If you consciously have did that and really have all that memory inside of you, you see what I'm saying? That's when you're really in the sixth dimensional and the higher density. And you gotta remember, all these dimensions are really inside of you. So it's like you gotta understand that these dimensions are not just places; they also are just frequencies of energy. So you can be on the sixth dimensional consciousness. You can have conscious memory of you living 1,000 years and stuff like, even on this earth plane. So that's what you gotta understand. It's like the earth really isn't just select to just the third dimensional energy. It's selective to all dimensional energies because that's how it was before. I mean, before the cycle came and all this negative energy arose to the to the third dimension. But that's a majority of what goes on in the sixth dimension, y'all. That's majority of what goes on, y'all. It's a lot of collective conscious love and community there. It's a lot of beings that have lived a long time, long experiences and stuff like that. That's where they reside. That's where beings like that have lived. So the seventh dimension, y'all. So the seventh dimension, I want to talk about angels, y'all. This is where majority of your angels live. The seventh dimension, angels with wings, y'all. I'm literally talking about angels with wings, just like they depicted in the movies. It's real, y'all. Angels are really real. They have wings and stuff like that, and they really do live in the seventh dimension, y'all. So that place is similar to what you really think. It's a heaven-like state. It's heavenly, you know what I mean? There's no negative thoughts there. There's no negative energy there. It's nothing like that. It's just positive energy, y'all, and people connecting to the collective consciousness. So what do you mean when these beings dream, y'all? What do they really do? What does an angel really dream when they go to sleep? Do angels even sleep? So you gotta understand, sleep is just an illusion, y'all, like I was explaining with the sixth dimension, y'all. So sleep is just an illusion, y'all. The collective consciousness is able to go to sleep or tap into this world, y'all, where anything is possible, anything is imaginable. But realistically, when you're doing this, you got to understand that in the seventh dimension, most of these beings are just connecting to the higher dimension above them where they already reside. They're intertwined with each other. So it's like you might be an angel in the seventh dimension, but you might go to sleep, then you be in the eighth dimension. Now you're a dragon. You see what I'm saying? So it's like now you're a dragon, you're flying amongst the stars, or you might just skip past the eighth dimension, and you might just go to the overworld, and you're a non-physical piece of energy, and now you're just flying around as a non-physical energy, and you're just living, you know what I'm saying, and exploring and stuff like that. So I feel like that's what majority of the seventh dimensional people dream about. And yes, I just explained more about the eighth dimension. Yes, so in the eighth dimension, that's where dragons reside. Most of the dragons are the ancient beings and stuff like that have lived for millennia, for eons and long time. So yeah, the eighth dimension, y'all, that's where most of the dragons sit. In the ninth dimension, y'all, realistically, is the access point to the overworld. So majority of the ninth dimension is non-physical. So it's like most of the beings there don't have no, I mean, they have a form, but realistically, they don't have no, like, set. It's like it's no way for you to really understand what type of vehicle are you in. You're just a piece of energy. That's the best way to explain it. So it's not like, oh yeah, I'm a soul and I'm just bubble flying around. Like, no, you could be many different pieces of energy. You could be this type of energy, this type of energy. You got to understand. But we move as a collective consciousness. That's the difference between these dimensions. So in the the ninth dimension, y'all, you move as a collective consciousness. So you together with all these energies that you around or you surrounded with consciously, and y'all just together floating in a certain pattern, in a certain frequency. It's collective. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you're your own piece of energy, but you're collectively a part of this whole system. So that's what the ninth dimension is really about. But then get into the overworld, y'all. That's beyond dimensions. The overworld, you're still with a collective piece of consciousness, y'all, but you got to understand this collective piece of consciousness you're with is you through all dimensions. So what's really the observer, the silent one, is really watching over all your thoughts, all the things you do, that's watching over your dreams, that knows all. You know what I mean? Where's the soul really reside? The soul really resides in the overworld, y'all, and that's really the basis of all these dimensions, y'all. That's what you got to really understand, y'all. So if you like this video, y'all, then y'all click the like button, y'all, subscribe, and yeah, click the like button and subscribe, and make sure you always always think about what you're grateful for, and always show gratitude, y'all. That's one of the highest vibrations in the freaking universe. So I just want to say thank you, and to the next one.